What's going on, everybody? This is Chris Martinez from Dynamic Duo Training.
And this is Eric Martinez.
Alright, so in our new educational video, what we're going to be talking about is why you need periodization in your training, okay? This video is not really geared towards beginners or novices, just because periodization really doesn't apply to novices or beginners, just because you can pretty much get those newbie gains off of just doing, pretty much looking at a weight, but I'm just kidding about that. But, you can pretty much get away with just doing anything in the gym and not sitting there having to use periodization if you're a beginner or novice, okay? This is more for like an intermediate or an advanced, okay, athlete. So, first things first, what is periodization, okay? So periodization is basically the planned manipulation of training variables, okay? So with the training variables, you have volume, intensity, frequency, you have tempo, you have rest period times, you have, different exercise selection, variations, angles. So periodization has to do with planning, different training variables like that, okay? So Eric's going to talk about why, we are such big advocates on specificity and progressive overload.
Alrighty, so as Chris mentioned, we are talking about periodization, and if you are a beginner, take advantage of all those things that we were talking about in the beginning, okay? So reap all those benefits. Alrighty, so we are huge proponents of the principle of specificity and progressive overload with our training and our clients as well, okay? So I'll talk about specificity, and then I'll talk about progressive overload. Okay, so what I mean by the principle of specificity, I'll use two different examples. So if you're trying to work on squats, deadlifts, or bench, I mean that's what we mean about specificity. Be specific about that certain exercise and literally work on that movement. Okay, it takes a lot of time, a lot of practice to really master that movement. Okay, so then I'll get into the other part about if you want to train like more of a muscle group than one other. So let's say you want to bring up your arms, for instance, biceps and triceps. Okay, so you're going to want to put more specificity towards that muscle group and add more volume. Okay, and what I mean by volume, that goes for reps times sets times weight. Okay, and then as far as progressive overload, I mean that's the key. That's the overall key to muscle growth, okay, as well as adding volume. Okay, so what I mean by progressive overload is that you're constantly adding weight to the bar, okay, on a week-to-week basis on each training session, and that could be through low reps, 4 to 6 reps, moderate reps, 8 to 12 reps, higher reps, 15 to 20 reps. But you're constantly progressing, the overload throughout time and increasing strength, and then that'll increase overall hypertrophy.
Yeah, and so also just to add to that too, with progressive overload, it doesn't always have to be just through like load, through weight. It could be through increased repetitions, right. Increased sets. Okay, so always constantly just adding to that. Okay. Also with specificity, so just think about it. Okay, like if you're a power lifter, like Eric said, with the big three, bench, squat, and deadlifts, then stick to those. Be specific, because those are high skill movements. It takes a lot of practice to get good at them, right? And on the other hand, if you're a bodybuilder, stick to maybe specifying more of the volume and workload towards hypertrophy type of work, because you're a bodybuilder and that's what you want to get better at, right? Is bodybuilding. Okay, so within periodization, okay, you have different cycles. Okay, so you have a microcycle, which is usually from week to week. Okay, so 1 week. Okay, and then you have a mesocycle, which is usually 4 weeks. Okay. And then you have a macrocycle, which can be anywhere from months to years, okay? So those are the different cycles within a periodization, okay? And with periodization, basically you have different varying concepts within periodization, okay? So you have basically nonlinear periodization, linear periodization, block periodization, daily undulating periodization, and then you have RPE and auto-regulation training, okay? So we'll talk about those in the next segment, okay? So I just want to basically let you guys know what, a real simple rundown of what periodization is. So periodization is basically, just variation, okay? And no periodization is basically no variation at all, okay? So that's really the easiest way to kind of think about it, okay? So stay tuned and we'll go into the next segment.
Alright, so let's talk about the different varying concepts in periodization, okay? So as we mentioned before, we'll go into non-periodization, linear periodization, non-linear periodization, daily undulating periodization, and auto-regulated training, RPE. Okay, so I'll start off with non-periodized training just to get the ball rolling, okay? So this is more towards like, a newbie, going into training. So for example, I put 3 sets of 10 for 12 weeks, okay? Someone's gonna just literally do that for 12 weeks, not manipulating rep schemes or anything, okay? And like we said earlier in the video, most likely you're gonna get those benefits if you're a newbie lifter, okay? So let's go into linear periodization training, okay? So an example of this could be for 4 weeks, you do an example of 3 by 15, okay? 3 sets of 15. Then for another 4-week cycle, you do 3 sets of 10. Then another 4-week cycle, you do 3 sets of 5, okay? So you're constantly just, manipulating rep schemes in sets. So let's go into non-linear periodization, okay? So an example for this I'll use is FAT. It's a really, really popular periodized program, okay, that's out there. And a good example of that would be just doing like, let's say, a lower and upper body split, but you do 2 power days, 2 heavy days, okay? So you go, let's say Monday, it would be lower body, but it'll be heavy day, okay? And then Tuesday, it's upper body, and it's gonna be more of a heavy day, okay? And you do that for 12 weeks. And there's actually, some really good research, showing that linear periodization and non-linear periodization is a lot more beneficial for muscle growth.
Okay. So then we're going to hop into daily undulating periodization, okay, DUP, all right? So what DUP is, basically, it's the undulation of different, training workouts within the day, okay? So for nonlinear, you have, different variations of undulating through training weeks, but with daily undulating periodization, it's undulating within each day, okay? So constantly, through in 1 week, it's different types of training styles within 1 week, okay? All right, so an example of that would be right here, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, okay, for your split. Monday, you would have hypertrophy. Wednesday, you would have power style training. Friday, you would have strength style training, okay? The reason being is because if you do hypertrophy on a Monday, that's going to cause more muscle damage, right? So if you were to go and do a strength training on Wednesday, 2 days later, you'd be way too sore to sit there and try to lift, anywhere from 80 to 90% of your 1 rep max, okay? So if you put in a power day, it's more of like 60 to 70% of your 1 rep max. It's more of working on speed work and skill acquisition, okay? And then on Friday, you have your strength day, okay? Because you're rested from Monday to Friday to be able to pull, anywhere from 80 to 90% of your 1 rep max, okay? And usually DUP, this goes through within a mesocycle, through 4 weeks, okay? The next one is RPE and auto-regulated training, okay? So with RPE and auto-regulated training, it's basically a type of training to where the athlete goes into the gym, and depending on how they feel that day, mentally and physically, they're gonna go off of that and do whatever type of training they're trying to do. Okay, so for example, to make it a little bit more sense, okay, with RPE and auto-regulated training, okay, you have a scale of 10, 9, 8, and 7. Okay, and again, RPE stands for the rate of perceived exertion. Okay, so let's just say depending on how you feel that day, okay, you go in there and you do a squat. And you do a squat, 3 sets of 5 repetitions at a 9 RPE, okay? That means you're going to do 3 sets of 5 repetitions on the squat, and you're going to have 1 rep left in the tank, okay? So you're going to cut yourself off, 1 rep short of failure, okay? Let's say we want to go in there and do a 1 rep maximum lift, okay? And you want to do it at a 10 RPE, okay? That means you're going to do completely, maxing out 100% all effort, okay? Same with an 8 RP, okay? That means 2 reps left in the tank, okay? So about 80%. A 7 is about 3 reps left in the tank, okay? So that's exactly what the RPE and auto-regulated scale looks like, 10, 9, 8, 7. And it just all depends on when you go in there and you feel how you feel that day. Because some days, we all know as in training, that you can't go in there and you can't feel 100% in training. You can't go in there and hit a 1 rep max of, let's say you do 405 on squats. Okay, you're not going to always go in there and be able to say, I'm going to hit 405 today for my 1 rep max, because there's so many different things in life that go on as far as stress, basically life stressors. Okay,
right, sleep, bad sleep.
You didn't eat very good. You didn't you didn't recover well. So there's just so many things in there. You just can't feel 100% every time you go in there training. Okay.
So it's just a good way to just train at your own pace,
basically. Yeah. So those are really just really just quick summaries of the varying concepts within periodization. Okay, we didn't want to go into too much detail and get too confused about it, because we could do separate videos on this, and we'll probably end up doing that in the future. Okay, so we just want you to know too. Okay, with periodization, the classic model looks like what you're trying to do is you're starting off. Let's say you take a 12-week training protocol. Okay, so what you want to do normally, and this is the classic model in periodization. Okay, you start with the volume high. Okay, intensity low. Okay, and as the 12 weeks comes through, okay, so you get up to week 12, okay, the volume is going to decrease and the intensity is going to increase, okay, so you're trying to peak for, a competition like a powerlifting meet or, a 1 rep max or something like that, okay, so just remember that, okay, within a 12-week cycle, 16-week cycle, the basic, model for periodization is start with volume high, intensity low, and then as you go through the weeks, bring volume down and bring intensity up, okay? Alright, so stay tuned for the next segment of this video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so to conclude this video on why you need periodization in your training, okay, so we just want to basically just let you guys know that, what periodization was, why it's beneficial, who it's actually beneficial to, and then the different varying concepts within periodization, like we talked about. No periodization, non-linear, linear, daily unrelated periodization, RPE, auto-regulated training, so all those concepts, okay? So these are basically all just concepts, okay, to programming, okay? All it is just programming for a training protocol and have, a successful outcome with it, okay? That's all it really is, okay?
And then to let you guys know, the whole reason too we want to put this video out as well and this information is because we recently just got some brand spanking new training templates designed for this, okay? And what I mean by that is it has all the different periodization concepts in there that we can program, okay? So non-linear, linear, daily unregulated periodization, auto-regulated training, all that good stuff, okay? So we can actually program all that stuff for you guys, okay? And just wanted to put that out there because these are really, really advanced templates that are going to make life easier for our clients and just overall training and just building as you go with your goals.
Okay, so that pretty much concludes this educational video on why you need periodization in your training. Like Eric said, with the offer of the new spreadsheets that we have, okay, just email us at dynamicduotraining@gmail.com. Visit us on our website to check that out too. And like you said, if you're not looking for coaching with training, we can design, a 12-week, 16-week training protocol to your schedule, your goals, your activity levels, everything like that, and you can just kind of do it on your own. So we're very flexible with that, and that's something we offer, okay? Other than that, we'll come out with another video in a month. Visit us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Subscribe, please. Instagram. Talk to you guys later.